Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Kim and today we're going to learn about the negative imperfect. The negative imperfect expresses that something didn't happen in the past. English examples are he didn't read or we didn't come. Our today's video is split into 4 parts. In the first chapter we are going to learn how to form the negative imperfect for all the 6 verb types. Then we are going to talk about a so-called exception plus 2 more important verbs. Later on we will also learn how to form some sentences including the negative imperfect, and at the very end of this video we are going to practice what we've learned today and we'll solve some exercises together. So let's start with our first chapter, how to form the negative imperfect. The formation of the negative imperfect is slightly different for each of the 6 verb types. Let's see how it works with verb type 1. For verb type 1, we first have to put the negative verb into the correct form, which can be either en, et, ei, emme, ette or eivet. Then we need the infinitive stem. For verb type 1, that means we have to remove the last letter of the infinitive verb, and then we add either not or nut for singular or the ending net for plural. Let's take a look at one example. Sanoa means to say. In order to receive the infinitive stem, we have to remove the last letter of sanoa, which means we remain with sano, which is our infinitive stem. So the first person negative imperfect of sanoa is minä en sanonut. I didn't say. Sinä et sanonut. You didn't say. Hän ei sanonut. He or she didn't say. And the plural forms, me emme sanoneet. We didn't say. Te ette sanoneet. You didn't say. And he eivät sanoneet. They didn't say. So what's important here? For the singular person, we use the ending nut, while for the plural person, we use the ending net. Let's do another example. Etsia, meaning to look for. Our infinitive stem here is etsi. Minä en etsinyt. I didn't look for. Sinä et etsinyt. You didn't look for. Hän ei etsinyt. He or she didn't look for. The plural forms, me emme etsineet. We didn't look for. Te ette etsineet. You didn't look for. And he eivät etsineet. They didn't look for. So here we use for the singular forms the nut ending, and for the plural forms we remain with the net ending. Alright, now let's move on to verb type 2. Here it's pretty much the same as in verb type 1. The only difference is that in order to receive the infinitive stem, we have to remove either da or te from the infinitive verb. Let's take a look at our examples. Saada means to get. Minä en saanut. I didn't get. Sinä et saanut. You didn't get. Hän ei saanut. He or she didn't get. Now the plural forms, me emme saaneet. We didn't get. Te ette saaneet. You didn't get, and he eivät saaneet. They didn't get. So as you see, for the singular persons here we use again the not ending, while for the plural forms we use the net ending. One more verb, viedä, means to take. Minä en vienyt. I didn't take. Sinä et vienyt. You didn't take. Hän ei vienyt. He or she didn't take. And the plural forms, me emme vieneet. We didn't take. Te ette vieneet. You didn't take. And he eivät vieneet. They didn't take. To sum it up, this verb gets for its singular person the nut ending, and for the plural forms we use the net ending. Now let's move on to verb type 3. This one works a bit different. Again, we need here the negative verb in the correct form and the infinitive stem. And then we have to decide between 4 different endings. They can be either lut, lut or let, nut, nut or net, rut, rut or ret, or sut, sut, or sad. Which ending we choose depends on which consonant the infinitive stem ends with. So when our infinitive stem ends with, for example, the consonant L, then we add either lut, lut, or led to the stem. Or let's say if the stem ends with the consonant R, then we add rut, rut, or red. Alright? So let's take a look at some examples. Our first verb here is tulla, which means to come. In order to receive the infinitive stem, we have to remove the two last letters. So that means we remain with tull as our infinitive stem. Now, since our stem ends with the consonant L, we have to use the lut, lut, or led ending. Now let's conjugate. Minä en tullut. I didn't come. Sinä et tullut. You didn't come. Hän ei tullut. He or she didn't come. The plural forms. Me emme tulleet. We didn't come. Te ette tulleet. You didn't come. And he eivät tulleet. They didn't come. So here for the singular person we use the lut ending, and for the plural person we use the led ending. Next verb is panna, which means to put. Our infinitive stem is pan, so that means we use here the not, nyt, or net ending. Minä en pannut. I didn't put. Sinä et pannut. You didn't put. Hän ei pannut. He or she didn't put. The plural forms. Me emme panneet. We didn't put. Te ette panneet. You didn't put. And he eivät panneet. They didn't put. So for this verb here we use for the singular forms the not ending, and for the plural forms the net ending. Let's do two more examples. Suura, meaning to mourn. Our infinitive stem is sur, so that means we need the ending rut and red here. Minä en surut. I didn't mourn. Sinä et surut. You didn't mourn. Hän ei surut. He or she didn't mourn. And the plural forms. Me emme suureet. We didn't mourn. Te ette suureet. You didn't mourn. And he eivät suureet. They didn't mourn. So for the singular forms we use here the rut ending, and for the plural forms we use the red ending. And our last verb for this verb type is ratkaista, meaning to solve. Our infinitive stem here is ratkais, so we have to use the sut or sad ending. Minä en ratkaissut. I didn't solve. Sinä et ratkaissut. You didn't solve. And hän ei ratkaissut. He or she didn't solve. And the plural forms. Me emme ratkaisseet. We didn't solve. Te ette ratkaisseet. You didn't solve. And he eivät ratkaisseet. They didn't solve. So for the singular forms here we use the sut ending, and for the plural forms the set ending. Great! Now let's move on to verb type 4, 5 and 6 at once, because they all work the same. So here we need again the negative verb plus the infinitive stem, and then we add either not or nut. Here we need two ends, or the ending net for plural. Also here we have two ends. So what's important here? For the verbs of type 4, 5 and 6, the endings get two ends. To receive the infinitive stem of these verb types, we have to remove the two last letters of the infinitive verb. Let's take a look at some examples. Our example for verb type 4 is tavata, which means to meet. Our verb stem here is tava, so to tava we add the endings. Minä en tavannut, I didn't meet. Sinä et tavannut, you didn't meet. Hän ei tavannut, he or she didn't meet. The plural forms. Me emme tavanneet, we didn't meet. Te ette tavanneet, you didn't meet. And he eivät tavanneet, They didn't meet. So here for the singular forms we use the not ending, two ends, and for the plural forms we use the net ending, also with two ends. Let's move on to our example for verb type 5, which is tarvita, which means to need. Our verb stem here is tarvi. Minä en tarvinnut. I didn't need. Sinä et tarvinnut. You didn't need. Hän ei tarvinnut. He or she didn't need. In the plural forms, me emme tarvinneet. We didn't need. Te ette tarvinneet. You didn't need and he eivät tarvinneet. They didn't need. And our example for verb type 6 is vanheta, which means to become or to get older. Minä en vanhennut. I didn't get older. Sinä et vanhennut. You didn't get older. Hän ei vanhennut. He or she didn't get older. The plural forms, me emme vanhenneet. We didn't get older. Te ette vanhenneet. You didn't get older and he eivät vanhenneet. They didn't get older. So that was it with all the verb types. Now we move on to chapter 2, where we are going to learn about the one exception plus two important verbs. So you probably already know the word tietää, which means to know. This one can appear in two versions. Tietää is verb type 1. So that means to get the infinitive stem, we just have to remove the last letter. So that means our infinitive stem is tietää with one ä. Minä en tietänyt. I didn't know. Sinä et tietänyt. You didn't know. Hän ei tietänyt. He or she didn't know. The plural forms. Me emme tietäneet. We didn't know. Te ette tietäneet. You didn't know and he eivät tietäneet. They didn't know. So we can either go with this version or the second one is minä en tiennyt, sinä et tiennyt, hän ei tiennyt, me emme tienneet, te ette tienneet and he eivät tienneet. So as you see here, the second version differs a lot from the first version. You can use either version you want. Now let's move on to the two important verbs that we have to pay some extra attention to. One of them is tehdä, which means to do. The positive past tense or the positive imperfect differs a lot from the negative imperfect. Now let's go first through the positive imperfect one. Minä tein means I did. The negative imperfect, however, is minä en tehnyt. I didn't do. Sinä teit, you did. Sinä et tehnyt, you didn't do. Hän teki, he or she did. Hän ei tehnyt, he or she didn't do. Me teimme means we did. Me emme tehneet means we didn't do. Te teitte means you did. Te ette tehneet means you didn't do. And he tekivät means they did. He eivät tehneet means they didn't do. Alright? And the other important verb is nähdä, which means to see. The positive imperfect is minä näin. I saw. Negative imperfect, minä en nähnyt. I didn't see. Sinä näit, you saw. Sinä et nähnyt, you didn't see. Hän näki, he or she saw. Hän ei nähnyt, he or she didn't see. Me näimme, we saw. Me emme nähneet, we didn't see. Te näitte, you saw. Te ette nähneet, you didn't see. And he näkivät, they saw. He eivät nähneet, they didn't see. Alright, now let's move on to chapter 3, forming sentences. Now we're going to learn how to use the negative imperfect in sentences. Here are some examples. Me emme menneet kirjastoon means we didn't go to the library. So here we have me emme menneet, first person plural negative imperfect of the verb mennä, which means to go, and kirjaston means to the library, illative case. So let's repeat. Me emme menneet kirjastoon. We didn't go to the library. Next one. Minä en tavannut häntä aamulla means I didn't meet him or her in the morning. So minä en tavannut is the first person singular negative imperfect of the verb tavata, which means to meet. Häntä is the partitive of hän, and aamulla means in the morning. So let's repeat. Minä en tavannut häntä aamulla. I didn't meet him or her in the morning. Next one. Hän ei sanonut mitään means he didn't say anything. Hän ei sanonut is the third person singular negative imperfect of the verb sanoa, which means to say. Hän ei sanonut mitään. He didn't say anything. Next one. Minä en nukkunut viime yönä means I didn't sleep last night. Minä en nukkunut means I didn't sleep. It's the first person singular negative imperfect of the verb nukkua, which means to sleep, and viime yönä means last night. So let's repeat. Minä en nukkunut viime yönä. I didn't sleep last night. Next one. Mia ei osannut laulaa, mutta hän ei näyttänyt sitä. Means Mia couldn't sing, but she didn't show it. So let's go step by step. Ei osannut is the third person singular negative imperfect of the verb osata, which means can, in the sense of to know how something works. Laula is standing in its infinitive form and it means to sing. Mutta means but. Hän, he or she. In this case here it's she. Ei näyttänyt is the third person singular negative imperfect of the verb näyttää, which means to show. And sitä here means it's the partitive of se. So let's repeat. Mia ei osannut laulaa, mutta hän ei näyttänyt sitä. Mia couldn't sing, but she didn't show it. One more. A is asking, ehtitkö ajoissa kouluun? Means, did you make it to school in time? And B answers, en ehtinyt. Juna ei tullut. Means, I didn't make it, the train didn't come. So let's go step by step. Ehtitkö is a combination of the second person singular of the verb ehtiä plus the question marker kö. Ehtiä here, by the way, means to make it or to arrive. Ajoissa means in time, and kouluun means to school, illative case. And then let's see what B says. En ehtinyt means I didn't make it. It's the first person singular negative imperfect of the verb ehtiä, and juna ei tullut means the train didn't come. So juna means train, and ei tullut is the third person singular negative imperfect of the verb tulla, which means to come. Alright, so let's repeat. A is asking, ehtitkö ajoissa kouluun? Did you make it to school in time? And B is answering, en ehtinyt. Juna ei tullut. I didn't make it. The train didn't come. Alright, now we move on to chapter 4, where we are going to solve some exercises together. Here you see 10 verbs standing in the past tense, and the task is to put them into the negative imperfect. For each answer we have 5 seconds. So let's start. Let's do the first task together. Hän sanoi means he said. The basic verb is sanoa. Now we want to change hän sanoi into the negative imperfect, which is hän ei sanonut. Hän ei sanonut. He didn't say. Alright, next one. Minä luin means I read. The negative imperfect is... That's right, it's minä en lukenut. I didn't read. Next one. Me annoimme. We gave. The negative imperfect is... Very nice. Me emme antaneet. We didn't give. Next one. Sinä rakastit. You loved. The negative imperfect is sinä et rakastanut. Sinä et rakastanut, meaning you didn't love. Next one. He veivät. The negative imperfect is, that's right, he eivät vieneet. He eivät vieneet. Next one. Te halusitte. They wanted. The negative imperfect is, that's right, te ette halunneet. They didn't want. Next one. Hän teki. He did. The negative imperfect is, very good. It's hän ei tehnyt. He didn't do. Next one. He näkivät. They saw. The negative imperfect is, very nice. He eivät nähneet. Next one. Minä suljin. I closed. The negative imperfect is, that's right. Minä en sulkenut. And our last one. Hän tiesi. He knew. The negative imperfect is, that's right. It's either hän ei tiennyt or hän ei tietänyt. So that's it for today. I hope you liked this video. If you want to learn more Finnish, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day and see you next time.